Serious. What's the worst part about being the older sibling? Attention. Serious. Tag notice, jokes, puns, and off-topic comments are not permitted in any comment, parent or child. Parent comments that aren't from the target group will be removed, along with their child replies. Report comments that violate these rules. Posts that have few relevant answers within the first hour, and posts that are not appropriate for the serious tag will be removed. Consider doing an AMA request instead. Thanks for your cooperation and enjoy the discussion. I am a bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit if you have any questions or concerns. I'm 7 years older than my brother, and one day while I was at school, Mom let him wander into my room, where he cut up all my school valentines and a newspaper photo of my best friend. My friend had been in the hospital, and Mickey Mouse had visited all of the sick children. My friend's photo made the local newspaper, but not the one we took, so I had to ask all around the neighborhood before finding a copy. I was angry. My brother was only 3, so he could be forgiven, but what I found hard was when Mom got mad at me for being mad at her for not watching him. I was never offered any sympathy or apology. How hard is it to say, "I'm so sorry, honey, he must have gotten in there while I was in the laundry room. How about we go for ice cream together after dinner and then we'll see if we can tape some of that back together." It was par for the course though. Another time, my aunt and uncle dropped by and announced while I was at school and Mom let my 4-year-old cousin play with my Barbie. She trashed the clothes, and I was told I was selfish for complaining. Right, give away someone's stuff to someone too young to know what they're doing, then fail to supervise. But it's the one who had no chance to object who's selfish. Holy shit, is this every true? I'm the oldest. Youngest is almost 7 years younger. My mom was nuts with how controlling she was over my life until high school was over. My little sister was basically riding around drunk doing whatever the fuck she wanted by the time she was 16 or so, and my parents barely gave a shit. I think part of it was an overcorrection because they knew they were weirdly overbearing with me, and it became very clear very fast once I was out of the house that it was just wasted energy and really just harmed me. This my 24F brother, 32, and I pretty much had the same rules/punishments, but being the first girl of a mom who got pregnant at 17, I was kept under lock and key, which really led to a lot of bad decisions once I went to college. Whoops, but my sister, 16, has gotten everything I wanted as a kid: loft bed, full-size bed, curfew that wasn't 9 p.m. 24/7 until I graduated high school, unsupervised boy time, etc., and she has never once been spanked, but my brother and I got our asses whooped until the cows came home. Yeah, we probably deserved it, but she is one of the most insufferable people I've ever met. Horrid attitude, blasé about everything that matters, and just all around super mean. We were never close because of our age gap. 8 years between me and my brother and me and my sister, 16 between my brother and sister, but it's crazy how little my parents care about what my sister does now. Makes me a little jealous, I won't lie. But really just seeing them get away with everything, get everything you used to ask for, and years of getting in trouble for their bad behavior sucks and really taints your view of siblings. I'm trying to avoid that with my son, 5. But my son and I aren't even engaged yet, so unfortunately he'll have the same age gap with his half-siblings, but I'm going to try to maintain the same level of parenting throughout all of my kids. I know, easier said than done. True, I was supposed to be the responsible role model, while my siblings got to play video games and had sleepovers. In my case, I missed out on my childhood because I was stuck at home raising my siblings due to huge age gaps. My sister is 12 years younger, and strangers would often ask me during my high school years, "How old is your daughter?" Or "Are you a single mother?" Fun times, right, lol. You're the one forced to include your younger siblings in things, which is a social burden, and you have no one older than you to stick up for you and emulate being more mature. In high school I had friends that knew exactly what to expect from applying to colleges, visiting colleges, and some of them even attended college parties with their older sibling. Meanwhile, I was applying to college on my own, paying application fees out of pocket, and I had to bring my 11-year-old brother with me anytime I went to the diner, mall, or movies with my friends. They pretty much stopped inviting me at one point. I remember being at my friend's house when I was like 15. His little sister was 5 and he was always expected to watch her, even during school a few times. His mom came home and asked him how many of a certain snack the sister had been given that day. He told her and she laid into him, telling him it was absolutely unacceptable and she had too many. Even back then, all I could think was, he's not the fucking parent, we were just kids too. I could hardly self-regulated how many snacks I could give myself. I can't imagine trying to do the same for a 5-year-old. Being expected to be perfect to set an example for your younger siblings, and being compared to your younger sibling, it's usually him being compared to me, but then I feel bad because I hate being compared to other people, so I don't see why he wouldn't. If you succeed, you are an example that is shoved down your sibling's throat, making them feel bad. If you fail, you are an example shoved down your sibling's throat, making you feel bad. I wish parents wouldn't use their children as life lessons for others, but 1, that's just human nature, and 2, lessons can be learned from older siblings, so although it has its negatives, I wonder if there are some positives too. For me, being almost 19 years older than my siblings, it's when they forget that I'm actually their grandchild. My parents were young when they had me, and then they split up, and then met new spouses and had new kids. Oh, let's take a photo of everyone, except just because we forget about him. I just transferred X amount of money to all my grandchildren, except just because he is an adult. It never really bothered me until my girlfriend said something, but now it kind of does. I feel like I'm forgotten a lot of the time. I do well for myself, and have no need for their money, but it's nice to be noticed sometimes. My partner has this. She and her sister were kids from the first marriage and they have a half-sister 10 years younger. Her sister had dad cut her off midway through university, so she had to work to pay and struggled with the course. Meanwhile, her younger sister has had her last couple of years of school, 16-18 education, in a school that costs thousands to attend a year. It's really lame, but older siblings get so much less help than their younger siblings. Sometimes it's understandable as less financial burdens equals more support for remaining kid, but others it's obvious favoritism. This is me. My younger brother has a well-paying job, is married to a woman with a well-paying job, they just bought a big house with a pool in the backyard, they have an adorable baby. Then there's me, who's never known what I want to do with my life. Have worked a series of customer service jobs because finding any other job seems like an impossible task that I just can't seem to figure out how to do. I've had to move back in with my parents during the pandemic. The thing is, it's not jealousy. I don't want the life my brother has. Being married with a kid in the suburbs sounds nightmarish to me. I just feel so out of place at family functions, like he's the one that did everything that parents hope their kids will do and I'm just kinda there. The worst is that I'm expected to be great. I'm expected to have my shit together. I'm expected to be the bigger person. I'm expected to support myself. My younger brothers are not. That even when I have needed help, I'm still expected to have my shit together and be perfect. Have a job, pay rent, pay more rent when it's found that I have money left over, etc. But not my brothers. Fr. I quit first year into junior law because I realized it wasn't for me, and my parents said how disappointed they were and how I should have tried better, undermining my every following move. I just said fuck it, and after the summer I'm doing logistics study and moving out to move in with my grandma in another province because I'm disappointing for not having my shit together at 16. I didn't have anyone. That hit me to my core. I completely get that. As a kid, when either my stepdad would come after me or my mom would lose her shit on me, I would imagine having an older brother who would stand up for me and tell them to fuck off. Now I am that older brother, but in fact did I have to grow up fast? Same. The hard thing is my parents are older as am I, so now they want to be a happy family. I try because they're my parents and they are making a real effort, but those negative thoughts of how it used to be keep creeping up and make me feel like shit because I'm lucky to even have parents. Moving on, like I wasn't intensely depressed into my early 20s because of it isn't easy, but pretty sure it's what I'm supposed to do. You're basically the test subject for both your parents and your siblings. Do you know why did my mom never let my brother just cry without giving a damn? Because when she did that to me, I would just cry for hours and hours without stopping until she'd just appear and yelled me to shut up. Do you know why did my brother never responded on a mean way to my mom? Because when I did it, she slapped my face so hard she opened my lip and made me bleed. I just don't know. I feel I'm not the good one. Just a small practice before actually having a real family. Yes, this is so annoying. I'm not only the oldest brother but the oldest cousin too. Like FFS, I am the role model. Peak of humanity in this generation apparently. I am asked to do so much it's not funny anymore. When my grandpa died in 2019 from cancer, I was 14 and the oldest. Everyone looked at me for shit like bruv, I was the oldest, and to him probably his favorite as we had the same hobbies, so I needed time to grieve. Didn't get that time. Sorry for my rant. My school had a graduation for us 8th graders and that was literally the only thing that my brother did not attend, and he only did not attend because I was giving a speech. It was a great night and I was exhausted, but I was still the happiest I've ever been. Little did I know that my family was throwing a little party for me, where I would promptly be ignored by my entire family in favor of only paying attention to my brother. My people, sorry that happened to you. It fucking sucked for me. My parents already thought the reason our relationship was tense was because I didn't include him in things, and to this day blame me for the dissolution of our relationship. He's a foot taller than me and regularly threatened to kill me during his meltdowns and pushed me down the stairs once. Also, he's a dick, but the violent stuff got to me more. I'm 100% convinced that the reason I don't want to have kids is because I was the emotional clutch to my youngest brothers and I had to take care of them my entire teenage years while my parents went to work. The youngest had really bad anxiety and I had to console him for hours at night because he only trusted me. It's been years since this happened and I'm still burnt out. For me, it was my mom's unprocessed childhood trauma. She was the middle of 3 sisters, then grew up to have 3 daughters of her own. Her older sister bullied and abused her, and she feels that her parents took her sister's side more often and instead punished my mom for screaming. She projected her lifetime of resentment onto my relationship with my middle sister. My sister was actually extremely mean and bullied both me and our youngest sister, and my mom wouldn't punish her for it. I was bullied in school and hated seeing her do that to my baby sister, so I'd step in and punish her myself, and then my mom would accuse me of being the bully. My middle sister would also intentionally bait me into retaliating to get me in trouble. She'd make little quiet comments or do other things to wear away at me until I finally snapped, and you guessed it, I'm the bully again. I accept responsibility for my abusive behavior toward my sister and I feel horrible about it. I accept that we will never be close because I ruined that possibility, but at the same time, my mom played a huge part in this relationship dynamic too. She showed clear favoritism toward my sister because the middle child has it so hard, and she seems to view older sisters as inherently abusive and mean. I had no jealousy or ill will toward my sister until my mom started with this shit. I used to play with her, read to her, teach her things, take care of her, until my mom started giving her all the special treatment and letting her off the hook for everything. By trying to even the score, she achieved the exact opposite. Being pressed into free babysitting servitude. But personally, probably the worst part is that it was always my plan to get the fuck out of Dodge as soon as I could, and I followed through. I got my first job at 16 and got my first apartment at 17. After I left, my siblings got really close with each other, and at this point, it kinda feels like they've always been the only two and I'm some weird cousin they keep in touch with on Facebook. It kinda feels like I don't have siblings at all. Oh wow, this hit home. I'm almost 7 years older than my middle sister and almost 9 years older than my youngest sister. They are best friends, talk on the phone almost every day, and I'm the afterthought. The youngest calls me about once a month, and the middle one only calls if she has something specific to discuss like holiday plans. And yeah, being forced to babysit all the time sucked. I never had any free time after school, which was something I desperately needed. My alcoholic dad would pick the kids up from their actual babysitter's house as soon as he got off work, drop them off at home with me, then head straight to the bar. My sister and I are about 2 years apart. Overall we got along pretty well. We shared a bedroom till I was about 14 and she was 12. We had a single mom, so she couldn't afford a place till I was on high school so we could have our own rooms. The one thing I absolutely hated though, my younger sister loved dolls. Me? I never wanted a doll, not even a Barbie doll, but my sister had so many. She's get them as gifts for years. She even got this creepy standing doll that stood in the corner of the room. It didn't have a face. She had one of those toy canopies to hold the amount of dolls she had. But could I get a mini disco ball and a lava lamp? Number. I had to pick just one. You're older, you should know better than to say the word stupid to your sibling. Do it again and we're taking your phone. They're just young. They don't know better than to invade your privacy, steal your stuff, tell you nobody wants you alive, physically hurt you and hit us when they don't get their way. We already talked to them and they said they won't do it again. Being the executor, my mother has numerous medical conditions, any one of which could cause her death, or cause her mental state to become unhinged. Because of this, my mother had her will laid out 11 years ago, at 38 when I was 20. Occasionally she even updates it. Anytime serious surgery is performed, I get a message. All things considered, it's not horrible. However, being acutely aware of the mortality of my mother is not the most pleasant of things. Same. My older brother passed away some time ago, making me the oldest and in charge. I always get the calls about updates and I'm the one to go take care of our mom when she needs it. I don't resent helping her of any of that stuff, but I do hate the helpless feeling from seeing her mortality right in front of me. I feel like I can never talk about my feelings to anyone because within 2 minutes of the conversation it will derail into a conversation about my poor brother. Look, I know my stepfather is a douchebag and he is affecting my brother, but I have freaking problems too. But it seems like the only person anybody cares about in my family is my freaking brother. A real story in retrospect I now tell as a joke that reminds me of your console woes. My parents decided for me early on video games and Japanese anything, Pokemon, DBZ, etc., equals bad, so I had a hard time relating to friends at school because that was the shit back then when I was a kid. By 6th or 7th grade, I bargained, begged profusely for months, for a chance to get a Game Boy and only one game for all eternity, and I'd do anything. Easy. Just become the top student at the school, and, at the time we had a reading for points program at our school library. Read enough books and take enough comprehension quizzes to get 800 points, something like 400 books, and you might can get a Game Boy. And I fucking did it. Admittedly, by the end I had maxed out the reading comprehension grade level, different test. 12th grade 8 months or 12.8, so realistically that probably helped a lot for my future, but fuck lessons, I wanted a Game Boy. After 6 months of stalling I finally got the coveted device and Super Mario Bros. So after 1 year 6 months I finally had earned something precious, and my brothers 4 and 6 years younger were jealous and cried that they wanted one too and asked why should I have one. You'll get one when you're older, right? Right? LOL. No, they got their own devices and games for their birthdays 2 months later because it's only fair. Of all the things, that's what broke me, and I learned without a shadow of a doubt that life isn't fair and will never be fair, and all I could do is eke out what I can for myself. So all in all, it was a pretty good lesson for a kid looking retrospectively. But one lasting effect is I still struggle to pick up a book nowadays and have mostly lost my love for reading for good. I know I like it, but that bitter taste starts to linger in my mouth anytime I try to read for pleasure. Edit. Side note: I discovered the Hardy Boys was a fucking point goldmine. Shitty, repetitive plot and a new location you could finish in one night, after lots of reading practice. Hated each and every fucking one of them and would chant Game Boy to myself at the beginning of every chapter, but goddamn they were the pog for Game Boy quests.